Hello everyone, my name is Z and I'll be doing my regional presentation on Algeria. So I will introduce the major influences on how and what Algerians eat in terms of the geographical, historical, and religious factors and how social status and gender plays a role. Then we'll discuss the main dietary staples along with some traditional dishes from Algeria. We'll also have a brief overview of a typical meal for an average median income Algerian family. Lastly, we'll discuss how Algerians manage their meals in terms of preparation, cooking, and eating. So, Algeria is the largest country bordering the Mediterranean Sea and the second largest African country. However, 80% of the country is desert land. That leaves only 3% of the land to be cultivated, which is too little for the country to be self-sufficient and feed its own people. The major crops in this region are wheat, barley, and potatoes. The coastal regions has a typical Mediterranean climate, which is pleasant nearly all year round with abundant rainfall. This region produces a large range of Mediterranean fruits and vegetables. Families living close to the Mediterranean Sea in the northern Algerian region enjoy a variety of seafood. Algerian cuisine can be traced to the various countries and ancient cultures that once ruled, visited, and traded with the country. First, the Berber tribesmen, which was one of the country's earliest inhabitants. They began the wheat cultivation, food consumption, and introduced the couscous. The Romans then took over Algeria and introduced and grew various grains. In the 600s, the Muslim Arabs invaded Algeria and brought exotic spices such as saffron, nutmeg, ginger, and cinnamon. They also introduced the Islamic religion, which is the national religion today. In the 1500s, Spain invaded Algeria and introduced olive oil, and fruits such as oranges and peaches. Around the same time, European traders introduced tea, Turkish Ottoman introduced sweet pastries. In the 1800s, French invaded Algeria, and to this day, French remains as the second most spoken language in Algeria. The French introduced their diet and culture to the Algerians. Tomatoes, potatoes, zucchinis, and chilies were brought over from the New World. Religion influences also plays a big role in what and how Algerians eat. 99% of Algerians follow the belief of Islam, the country's official religion. As a result, pork and alcohol is forbidden by the Islamic region, so it's not widely consumed. Ramadan, which is the most celebrated holiday in the country, is a month-long observance, and Muslims are required to fast, so they cannot eat between sunrise and sunset. At the end of the fasting, family will join together for a feast at the end of each day. And Iftar is the meal marking the end of Ramadan and is the most important feast in the year for Algerian people. Different food are also consumed by different social classes. Economically speaking, Algeria is split up into two groups, the rich and the poor. The middle class to wealthy Algerians often eat 4 times a day, beginning with breakfast, lunch, and a late afternoon snack, followed by a main dinner meal. Often these people will often have cooks that prepare their meals for them as well. The poor Algerians, particularly in rural areas, often consume a diet based on grains and cereals, supplemented with small portions of legume and dates. There's also a vast gender difference in Algeria. In Algerian law, women are not considered equal to men. Men are typically the one in charge for outdoor grilling when it comes to cooking. Woman works almost exclusively in the home, taking care of all domestic chores. Female of the household are the one that usually prepare the meal, and cooking today continues to be considered a woman's duty. And historically speaking, recipe and cooking customs are usually passed down through generations by word of mouth when women gather together to prepare and make meals. Now we'll discuss the dietary staples of Algeria. One of the main dietary is wheat, in the forms of couscous, bread, or pasta. They also consume chickpeas or lentils in dips or soups. Almost all Algerians eat a combination of grains and legumes daily. The common vegetables that they consume are zucchini, carrot, eggplant, artichokes, okra, cabbage, spinach, tomatoes, and peppers. Fruit is often dry or preserved in sugar for storage. Lamb is the preserved meat, and they have abundant of lamb in the region. Chicken and eggs are relatively inexpensive and provides a good source of protein. The common seafood in Algeria includes sardines, squid, shrimp, and mussels. Spices like cumin, nutmeg, coriander, fennel, ginger, mace, chilies are very popular in Algerian cuisine cooking. One of the interesting facts I found was that Algerians are the second greatest consumer of honey per capita in the world, which is pretty cool. These are some traditional dishes to the Algeria region. Couscous is Algeria's national dish. It is almost served daily for the Algerian people, and there's no special occasions or holidays without couscous. Most Algerians put lamb, chicken, or fish on one couscous together with cooked vegetable. Magousse is also a traditional dish to Algeria. It is a spicy lamb sausage. Maitrouille is a roasted whole lamb cooked on an outside pit. It is usually prepared for a large gathering. Kvass is a traditional Arabic flatbread and is the base of Algerian cuisine and is eaten at almost every single meal. For the desserts and drinks, seasonal fruits are typically served at the end of the meal. Their coffee is usually extremely strong, so it's served with a glass of water. However, mint tea is the preferred drink in Algeria and is considered the national drink of Algeria. Fruit juices and soft drinks are also very common, especially for younger children. Alcohol is generally very expensive and not of great quality in Algeria. In terms of preparing for meals, Algerian kitchens are relatively simple. Most cooking is done on stove tops or propane fuel burners using just a few pots and pans. The cooking techniques and ingredients vary from region to region and from family to family. With globalization and urbanization, growing numbers of supermarkets in big cities make shopping for meals more convenient, provide access for a range of prepared and packaged food, and this considerably reduce meal preparation times for many families living in the city. However, people today still shop in outdoor markets known as souks and small shops. The two main cooking methods that they use are simmering and braising. Throughout the cooking process, spices are usually added to soups and stew in several stages to create depth and flavor. Olive oil is the most preferred cooking medium, and most dishes are served at room temperature. When it comes to eating meals, normally people will eat 3 meals a day. Meals are sociable events where they encourage families and friends to gather together and share food. No Algerian meal will be complete without bread. Bread is often used to scoop food off a plate or to soak up a spicy sauce or stew. When they eat, they are usually seated around low tables, and traditionally Algerians sit on the floor on a carpet or cushions. When you eat food, they traditionally use their right hand. The left hand is considered unclean. One of the interesting facts I found was that food is often eaten with the first 3 fingers of the right hand. The use of the fourth and fifth finger shows overeating and is deemed socially unacceptable. I created a list of a typical menu for a middle-class family. So breakfast usually begins around 8 a.m. and a common item that people eat are known as kesra, which is a Berber flatbread made with semolina flour and buttermilk. Lunch is served around 12 p.m. This is not a big meal, so people usually eat a flatbread with a small piece of grilled meat or just a simple salad with fresh herbs and wild greens. They have a snack that is usually served around 3 to 4 p.m. People will often have a serving of fresh or dry fruits. or just mint tea served with butter cookies or biscuits. Dinner is the main meal of the day and is served around 7 p.m. It's also one of the largest meals of the day. Typical menus will include couscous served on a large platter surrounded with meat and vegetables. You will also have a serving of soup with chickpeas and barley. Or you might have roasted or grilled lamb or chicken. For dessert, you will have fresh fruits and fried sweets soaked in syrup. There's also many opportunities for people in Algeria to eat out. Restaurants are often located in popular coastal towns and the country's capital, Algiers. And these restaurants are particularly serving of French, Italian, and Middle Eastern cuisine. Street food is also popular in Algeria, but the vendors usually specialize in a single dish. School lunches in Algeria serve traditional foods such as couscous, dried fruits, stews, and street food drinks. Alcohol is only available in more expensive restaurants such as hotels and special shops. In the recent years, with the development of Algeria, some fast food restaurants did move into the urban areas. There's also a number of international cuisine that you could try, and these are usually available in hotel restaurants. So, for my discussion questions that I propose to you guys, I would like you guys to answer the first question. Geographical locations and social class plays key roles in determining what and how Algerians eat. Describe how these two factors play a role in Algerian diet. The second question asks, what are some ways how Algerians manage their meals in terms of shopping, preparing, and eating, and how is that different than the American culture and tradition? For your time, and I hope you enjoy the presentation. Thank you.